Governments want to increase revenues, and a channel for such increase is usually taxes. When you tax the people, you are reducing their spendable income. So typically, the people don't like taxes. Government like taxes. Government like the revenue to, to have for public expenditure and all that. But I think that there has to be a balance on how this is implemented. Like I said, there's an optimal level to which you can raise your taxes. Beyond that level, that tax rate becomes a disincentive for production, and people begin to avoid and evade payment and all that. So we need to find what is that optimal level and stick to that level. Okay? Now, the issue around what is that honest and transparent process that we're talking about? It's all about the sincerity of government. Usually, even in our tax laws, it calls for engagement. But we also know that government do not really engage and incorporate the outcome of that engagement into the policies. It's like a tick off the boxes approach. Let's tick off the boxes. But what we are saying here is that before those taxes or reforms are put in place, there has to be early consultation with all the various groups, civil societies, the vulnerable groups, the academia, the students, every one of us. They have to be part of that process. And they should not just be part of that process. Their views should be seen to count. So at the end of the day, there should be feedback how policy shifts have taken place because they've incorporated views from other people. So we need to see a lot more of that. Government needs to be honest. Government needs to be transparent, to engage with the citizenry before such taxes are imposed on them. So honesty is the outcome of the process, not just the process. The outcome of the process should be that their views count. Their views are imputed into that policy paper. And people should know that those views have been incorporated. Once that happens, there will be trust and there will be high compliance, and implementation of those reforms will be better.
So the conversation is about increasing revenue. So I guess we should also remember that increasing revenue for the government shouldn't be just about taxes. We should also look, for instance, at the non-oil exports from the country. And one would ask, as a player in the financial sector, how supportive and intentional are you, talking about your organization, in supporting exports for Nigeria?
Revenue increase don't have to come from taxes only. And sometimes we believe also that the problem we have is not a revenue problem, is how those revenues are appropriated. All right? What is the efficiency of appropriation? What do we use those monies for? What is the governance around those appropriation? That's the problem we have. If we double our taxes, we double our exports, and the governance and sincerity around appropriation of revenue is not taken care of, there's still going to be a problem. So we believe that this discourse will create a change in the way some of these things are done from all stakeholders, both government and the public. The public will be willing to pay their taxes because they've been consulted, and the government will ensure that those tax revenues are properly appropriated in a way that is good for the benefit of the people. I think that is the problem. Yes, beyond tax revenues, we believe that government can also generate a lot of revenues from exports. And that is why with us at Zenith Bank, we have, for over 15 years, we've been doing this export seminar. We said from zero to hero, where we identify young companies that are into export. We finance them, we mentor them, we support them, and grow them into something very big. So for us at Zenith, and I believe that the banking sector is doing a lot to promote non-exports, non-oil exports. $5 billion 2024 was the revenue from non-oil exports in Nigeria, and Zenith contributed close to 50% of that. Zenith as a bank, one institution among so many. All right. So, and I believe that is also continues. We continue to see more banks come into that space, and we at Zenith Bank will continue to do more to see how we can support non-oil exports. Of course, the oil exports we are all playing there. Oil is our main revenue stream, and most banks are there supporting drilling and export of crude. But the key thing here that we need to diversify our income stream. We can't all depend on oil. That is why the non-oil export is very key. Nigeria is blessed with so many minerals: copper, aluminum, agricultural products, lithium, iron ore, gold. We have all that in commercial quantity, but we have abandoned that because of oil. So it's time we go back to oil. In a few years' time, if we're able to move non-oil export to the levels of 10, 15, 20 or more $billion, I believe that our country, our revenue stream will be diversified and will be better for the country.
The whole theme about the Africa CEO Forum for 2025 has to do with collaboration between the public and the private sector. What strategies do you think can be employed by countries on the continent, especially Nigeria, to increase the benefit of this collaboration?
That collaboration has to be seen, talking of public and private sector. That collaboration, the benefit will be more apparent, like I said, when we follow the process of consultation, engagement, and people buy into what government needs to do. And I believe the private sector will be very willing to invest in the public sector. You see, there's a lot of gap in our economy, especially infrastructure, right? And the private sector, they are willing, they are ready. Equity investors are ready to bring in monies into the system. Provide power will require more power. You build roads, will require more roads. You build rails, you require more rails. So there are opportunities. It's for government and the private sector to work together in such a way as to begin to provide these things. And one way is to go through concessioning. Government doesn't have to spend the money directly all the time. You can go through concessioning. A lot of that. And yes, it comes back to the issue of governance. If it doesn't work, then we have ourselves to blame. What's governance is the sincerity and the transparency around implementation of those policies. When you concession a product or a scheme to investors that are probably not the best fit for that, then there will be failure. When you do a concessioning and the commercials are such that proper governance has not been built into it, it will fail. Because the concessionaire will have to wonder, how do I make my money? Because most of these things have not been done in a transparent way. So governance is a key thing for us to move forward for that. Whatever we do, after all the talk, we need to have strong governance. We need to have an honest process. Government needs to be very transparent, all right? It has to be inclusive. And the outcomes has to be such that people see that there is benefit for us. When people know that benefit is being created, and value is being created, they will work with government. How much value are we creating? How much value is the government creating? All right? So those are the questions we have to ask ourselves.